Hey viewers, today we are going to talk about the movie Thirst. A 2009 horror movie called Thirst. Catholic priest Sang Hyun ministers to the patients as a volunteer at the hospital. Although he is highly known for his strong faith and committed service, he nevertheless harbors emotions of uncertainty and melancholy. Sang Hyun consents to take part in a study to help develop a vaccine against the deadly Emmanuel virus F. Despite the fact that the experiment is unsuccessful and Sang Hyun has the disease that appears to be fatal, he recovers fully and effectively after obtaining a blood transfusion. The devoted members of Sang congregation Hoons learn of his miraculous recovery soon and start to think that he has a magical ability to heal. Many more people soon swarm to Sang services. Hoon's Sang boyhood Hoon's friend Kang Woo and his family are among the new churchgoers. Sang Hyun accepts Kang's invitation Woo's to join the weekly mahjong session at his home, where he becomes attracted to Tae-ju, Kang's wife. Woo's later, Sang Hyun relapses into his disease and wakes up needing protection from the sun after turning into a vampire. Sang Hyun initially experiences a surge of energy, but soon he is horrified to discover that he is consuming blood from a comatose patient. Sang Hyun finds himself drawn to human blood after trying to murder himself. Even worse, F symptoms reappear and only seem to be relieved when he drinks blood. Sang Hyun turns to stealing blood transfusion supplies from the hospital in a last-ditch effort to escape committing a murder. Tae-ju lived a dull life with her sick husband and overbearing mother-in-law, Mrs. Ra. She can't help but have strange fantasies for Sang Hyun because of how physically attractive he is to her. They start dating, but when Tae-ju learns the truth about Sang Hyun, she withdraws in terror. She refuses Sang's request Hoons to leave with him and suggests that they murder her husband instead. Sang Hyun leaves the monastery in disgust when his superior asks for some vampire blood so that his eyes can mend and he can see the world before he dies. He moves into Mrs. Ra's home in order to have an illicit relationship with Tae-ju. When Sang Hyun sees bruises on Tae-ju, she infers that her husband is to blame, which she shyly acknowledges. Sang Hyun decides to kill Kang Woo during a fishing trip with the couple. He pulls Kang Woo into the water and claims to his superior that he placed the body inside a cabinet in a house at the bottom of the lake, putting a rock on the body to keep it from floating to the surface. Sang Woo's symptoms return, so he kills his superior at the monastery and feeds on his blood. The result is a police investigation. As her son passed away, Mrs. Ra began to drink excessively, eventually falling into a psychosomatically paralyzed state. The images of Kang's swollen Woo's corpse are a horrific source of nightmares for Sang Hyun and Tae-ju. Sang Hyun is furious when Tae-ju admits that Kang Woo never mistreated her since he just killed Kang Woo to defend her. She begs Sang Hyun to murder her so she may go back to her spouse while crying out in pain. After feeding on her blood and deciding he does not want to be alone forever, he snaps her neck as a sign of submission. He then feeds her corpse his own blood. She comes to as a vampire. Mrs. Ra, who had just fallen to the ground due to a seizure, observes everything. Tae-ju rapidly reveals herself to be a merciless killer who will kill anyone for food, whilst Sang Hyun behaves more restrainedly and only kills when absolutely necessary. Their divergent ethical stances cause a chase across the rooftops and a brief clash. After some time, Mrs. Ra is able to tell Kang's friends Woo's that Sang Hyun and Tae-ju murdered her son. Sang Hyun appears to kill the third companion as Tae-ju dispatches the first two with ease. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Sang Hyun tells Tae-ju that they must flee a beacon. Sang Hyun then places Mrs. Ra in his car and with Tae-ju, drives into the night. Before leaving town, he makes a visit to the camp of worshippers who consider him the Miracle F survivor. He makes it seem like he tried to rape a girl, leading the campers to chase him away, no longer idolizing him. The third buddy, whom Sang Hyun simply pretended to kill to keep her safe from Tae-ju, manages to flee back to the house. Tae-ju discovers after waking up from a vehicle nap that Sang Hyun had driven to a barren field with no cover from the approaching dawn. Tae-ju tries to hide after learning of his plot to have them both burned when morning breaks, but Sang Hyun thwarts her every move. As Mrs. Ra watches from the backseat of the car, she joins him on the car hood and accepts her fate. The sun then burns them both to ash. Thank you.